don't think I'm prepared for this. I'm about to make my breakfast, but I didn't even think about the thinking that goes into that. Completely forgot about how I have to calculate how much I need to measure, how I'm going to kind of portion it out. If I'm eating it, I don't want to have to now weigh it. It's gonna feel weird to get my scale out. So yeah, I'm gonna make my breakfast now and make sure that I hit the target. I don't like this at all. No, there's too many numbers everywhere. I just don't like this. There's so many different components with this oatmeal thing. I feel like there's going to be way too much calculating going on involved. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to do here right now. I'm going to try and follow through with the meal plan today. I think I just got myself a little bit worked up. I can get through this and, you know, I don't know why I'm getting through this. I don't know why I'm getting through this. This is ridiculous. Don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do it. Initially, my idea to follow a set meal plan for one day was because I wanted to give a visual example of what a real meal plan in recovery would look like. I wanted it to be a tool in some way to get people to start their recovery and feel like they could and feel like it was a tangible thing that they could do. But as you saw from my breakfast experience, I think that calorie counting for the day would be more harmful than helpful for my recovery at this point. Because I've moved on from that stage of my recovery, I had a huge emotional connection to it because it felt like I was going back in time, and it wasn't a great time, and I didn't want to feel that thing. It scared me. It physically reminded me of how bad I felt so recently and how fragile my recovery is. I have to continuously be on top of my recovery to ensure that I never fall back into that area. So yeah, that is why I'm not going to continue on with calorie counting for the rest of today. That following a meal plan and even calorie counting is necessary in the initial stages of recovery. I remember the fear of eating being so strong, and so having a meal plan gave me a sense of safety and security because it put parameters around food. And of course, when I had parameters, it made the inside feel safer to access, and it also made me feel like I wasn't going to go out of control. Another pro about calorie counting and following a set meal plan, especially if you're following something like the Minnie Maud theory, these kind of structures potentially prevent you from eating too little. In my personal recovery, I never did the Minnie Maud theory. I had a set meal plan and a set amount of calories, but at the beginning it was not in line with the Minnie Maud theory. At a snail's pace, I was gradually increasing my intake, and it was not fun. So if I could recommend anything, don't even entertain the idea of doing anything less than the Minnie Maud minimums. Because if you're going to be messing around with lower calorie meal plans, like I did, and I wasted a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of brain power, it's almost like it's basically like you're not even in recovery. So maybe that's why I had such a bad experience in my recovery when I was calorie counting, because I wasn't even in recovery. So at the time I was too scared to increase my food to the Minnie Maud minimums, but I was convinced that I was eating a lot of food. And I think that's one really big problem with calorie counting, is when you put so much emphasis on a number and putting emphasis that it's a large number. I really believed that I was eating a lot. I was eating more than everybody else, and I was wrong. And also, being on a meal plan that emphasized numbers so much made me so rigid around food. And the types of food I ate, where I ate, the way that my food would be rationed out in the different components. Couldn't eat out unless it was packaged food with the nutritional value on it. And calculating calories is very tiring. It's tedious. It takes a long time. So that basically meant I ate the same thing every day because I didn't want to spend time trying to put together a new meal and calculating those calories. That was one of the reasons. The other reason was that it was my safe food. I didn't want to venture out of it. And from how I'm talking, I'm sure you can realize that my meal plan was way too low for what my body needed. My experience with calorie counting was all-consuming. It allowed me to start recovery, allowed me to eat something. It even allowed me to increase my food. But at a point, I definitely plateaued, and the feelings of desperation just started flooding back in. Got a message on my Instagram from an account called Rabbit Food. I think her name is Ella, so hi Ella, hopefully. So the comment was, when you talk about your meal plan on your videos, did a professional give you one that you're using, or did you create your own? Well, in my current situation, I don't think that I'm following a meal plan per se. I do eat at frequent times throughout the day, regardless if I'm hungry or not. My meal plan right now is basically, I know what a substantial amount of food on a plate should look like. I get my references from restaurants, pubs, the portion that Tyler puts on his plate. I use that kind of portion, that image, as a guide of how much I should be portioning for myself. That being said, I only started doing it recently for the last couple of months. It's been a long process of meal plans from dietitians, professionals, working with my mum to create a meal plan. So what I've seemed to have done is used all that information that I've gathered and made a meal plan of some sort for myself. And I think that I'm actually eating way more than what most of my meal plans have suggested for me in the past. From a lot of messages that I receive, I can tell that people are still in the beginning stages of recovery. And so that often means following a very structured meal plan. And that's okay, that's good. You may even be further into your recovery and doing really well in calorie counting and still on a meal plan. There's no one way to recover. If that's working for you, that's brilliant. But if you are currently in the beginning of your recovery and you're just starting a meal plan, I do want to share some tips and advice on what to look out for. In the beginning of my recovery, I definitely fell into some traps, and I just want to share them with you so that you can think about it if it ever comes up for you. So Number one. My ideas on calories were completely wrong. What I'm saying is that I ruminated all day about how much I was eating, how much I was forced to eat, and how crazy my recovery was. So it's probably the same for you. If you think you're eating too much, you're probably eating too little. Don't get stuck in the trap. Don't own the idea that you're eating so many calories, because your recovery will become hindered. And just like mine, it took me a very long time to make any progress and feel better at all. Number two, if you're weighing your food, if you're portioning your food, it's very, very easy to underportion. I had a very big issue with this. I would weigh my food to the amount I needed and then take a little bit out. And I justified it by thinking, oh, it doesn't matter, it's only a tiny scraping. And of course, the amount that I took out would increase over time. So just know that I had this problem, and I can't stress enough how important it is not to underportion from your meal plan. If you're thinking, oh, taking a little bit out is not important, it actually was one of the biggest reasons why I kept spiraling down. Number three is don't replace food components for lower calorie food. And I understand why someone would feel the need to do this. I definitely did. I was starving so much, so I thought having the least dense food would allow me to have more volume, so I'd have the illusion that I was eating more. But you'll just end up with a meal that has random low calorie components everywhere that isn't cohesive and not satiating. Number four, let someone else cook for you. Pretty simple. This way you're challenging your flexibility and challenging the need to micromanage every gram that goes into it. If someone else can cook for you, then it's an easier gateway to being able to go to restaurants. And lastly, number five, make sure that you're reviewing your meal plan on a very regular basis. I think a good way to know when it's time to change is when you feel safe. You may feel like you're on autopilot, there's no challenges, the food is becoming redundant, you're becoming more hungry once you've eaten your meals, that kind of stuff. Actually, even if you don't feel safe, review your meal plan on a regular basis and make increases. Make increases every 2 weeks, something like that, as much as you need it. Okay, I'm done. That's the end of the video. I've been talking for a very long time today, and this is a little bit different to my previous videos where I'm doing more challenges and stuff. This is more of a talky, chatty, blah, 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 blah video. So if you liked it, that's great. Please give me a big thumbs up, and please write in the comments if anything I said resonated with you, or if you have differing opinions. Let me know. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos every week on life, recovery, fun, zestiness, dogs, food, weird dancing.
Adios!